So guys, this video is again from another great email question. It's about what happens to the sage after realization. I really like talking about enlightenment, which I'll obviously talk about a lot in this video. But first, let's get to the question and then have a discussion. You'll see it there. Does the ego Atman realized sage have access to omnipotence during realization, since it's one with all of ultimate reality? For anyone that doesn't know, omnipotence is all-powerful. When you're around spirituality and religion, you would have inevitably come across those omnis: omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, all those qualities of God, all-powerful, all-knowing, in all time, in all space, all that kind of stuff. So the questioner is asking, does the realized sage become omnipotent, have access to all power, along those lines? Before I get into that, I just want to quickly talk about enlightenment through traditional teachings. Here's what I want to say. I love Advaita Vedanta non-duality, but it also has a side to it which is so easy to fall into. And I fell into this when I initially got into the teachings of Neo-Advaita. It's called the direct path. What's the fundamental teaching? The fundamental nature of reality is pure consciousness, and what are you? You're that. Now here's the thing. It sounds so easy and simple, doesn't it? Oh, this reality is the one fabric appearing separate. I'm that. So why do anything? Why do devotion, service, spiritual practice, meditation? What a waste of time. Who is the one doing this? Who is the one doing that? I fell down this trap. And I know what people that disagree with me are going to say. Look, dude, you didn't fall down a trap. You realized the ultimate truth, and all this spiritual practice is just reinforcing ego. But here is the claim of traditional teachings. What is enlightenment meant to do for us? The removal of all suffering and the feeling of fulfillment, happiness, inner peace under all conditions. So if whatever you've learned up to this point, whatever your interpretation is of Advaita Vedanta or any other philosophy, religion or spirituality, if you can honestly claim, yes, in this moment I have ended my suffering. I've ended my suffering and I'm in a state of constant peace and fulfillment under all conditions. You've lost the fear of death. You no longer desire anything in this world. Total eradication of desire, total loss of the fear of death, total inner peace, contentment, happiness, fulfillment. You need no more work. But if you're anything like the rest of us, I had to take a good, hard look at my spiritual life and think, are these teachings of it's the one appearing separate, there's no one here, nothing to do, has that solved the problem of my suffering? Before I got into these teachings, I desired the world. I had fears, anxieties, insecurities. When I got into these Neo-Advaita teachings, it's all consciousness. It's the one appearing separate. All these monks and all these people meditating, praying, devoting, what a waste of time. All these scriptures, what are they doing? See the arrogance in that way of thinking. That a little bit of knowledge about it's the one appearing separate, I started to think all this other stuff is nonsense. What was the Buddha doing? What are all these monks doing? What a waste of time. But here's the other thing I had to acknowledge. These monks, many of them just have a robe and a begging bowl. They have no possessions and they're content, they're happy. Me, on the other hand, I've got some cool Neo-Advaita knowledge. Oh, it's the one appearing separate, and I still enjoyed comfortable surroundings. I still desired this world. I still got angry. And what could I have said? Which many Neo-Advaita teachers say? Oh, in boundless awareness, you're desiring. In boundless awareness, you're angry. In boundless awareness, the appearance of suffering is happening. It didn't do anything for me. Seriously, I went from a worldly person, didn't believe in spirituality, had a lot of fear, anxiety, low self-esteem, desires for the world. Then I got into Neo-Advaita, heard, the fundamental nature of reality is consciousness. Everything's happening in boundless awareness. So now I still felt the same. Insecurity, low self-esteem, desiring the world, fears. But now I can say, in boundless awareness is happening. And at a certain point I realized there must be something to traditional teachings. Why don't I just lower my ego and Truly study what they're saying. And that is what led me into traditional Advaita Vedanta teachings. And once you study these teachings, you realize the teachings are so nuanced, so paradoxical. They're so beautiful. And they truly are an end to your suffering. Now, am I at the end goal yet? No. I know I'm not at the end goal. But another thing I know is I know where all this spiritual practice is leading to me. It's leading me to the end goal. And I made this channel to hopefully not sell you guys false promises. I'm on the spiritual path like you guys. I want to give genuine advice to people genuinely wanting to end their suffering. So perhaps it's not popular, but many times what is not popular is what we need. So I just thought I'd clear that up. Again, if you think and feel you have ended your suffering, you no longer desire this world, you've lost the fear of death, all that kind of stuff, congratulations, you're there. Me personally, I've come so far, but I feel I still have slight desire for this world. I still feel little flare-ups of annoyance and fear. So I'm not there yet. I'm honestly claiming that. But I'm a lot better from where I was just saying, oh, it's all an appearance, no one had nothing to do. That didn't do anything for me. So if you're anything like me, I'm trying to help you. And before I answer the email question, I've gone off into a little bit of a tangent already. Just to give you some insight on what monks are experiencing or they're doing. Once you're in a state of total loss of fear, here's some examples. Swami Vivekananda was asked to give a talk by some people listening to him. They listened to his speeches and thought, I like what this guy's saying, but let's put him to the test. They invited him to their village, asked him to give a speech. As he's giving his speech, Swami Vivekananda, they're taking shots at him, shooting at him. Bullets are whizzing past his head. Is he flinching? Is he distracted? No. He continues to give his speech like nothing's happened. How is that possible? He has lost the fear of death. His mind is in a total state of peace, freedom, non-reactivity. Giving a speech while bullets are whizzing past your head, not reacting. Another story Swami Sarvapriyananda mentioned. I remember him talking about this. Him and his fellow monks and guru were out watching some performance act. Like some acrobatic act, and they've got swords. And one of the guys at the top of the acrobatic performance, he falls and he's holding swords. Extremely sharp swords. He falls, stumbles towards the guru, accidentally of course. The guru doesn't even flinch. If someone fell towards you with swords, what's our initial reaction? Flinch, move away. He said the guru didn't flinch, or he took just the slightest step backwards. This is the state these highly advanced spiritual monks are in. Total surrender to the moment, unflinching or just slightly flinching. Another practice I've heard, some monks, to practice how much of a loss of sense of fear they have, they will hold their pulse and walk up near a dangerous animal like a tiger or a lion to see if their pulse increases. In other words, they're testing, am I really in a state of fearlessness, of no desire, all that kind of stuff. I'm just showing you the lengths these monks go to truly end their suffering, to truly get to the state of, look, I desire nothing and I fear nothing. Me, I'm not there yet. I can honestly say that, but I'm working towards that goal. So all I'm going to say, don't sell yourself short. Don't take on some half-baked teaching and think, oh, is that all there is to it? My life hasn't changed. Everything in this life takes hard work. You want to make $1 million, $1 billion, it takes hard work. You want a good-looking body, it takes hard work. You want a true end to your suffering. While you feel like a person living a life in time and space, you need to put in the work. And once that feeling of I'm a person living a life, there's past and future lives dissolves, then you're truly liberated. I just thought I'd put that out there. You can think everything I'm saying is nonsense, is up to you. But all I'm saying is don't sell yourself short until you truly have reached the goal. Now, getting back to that question, does the enlightened sage become omnipotent, all-powerful? The enlightened sage, from what I have heard, my understanding is they have lost the desire for all power. And that is even greater than having all power. And why is that? Why do we want to be all-powerful to begin with? What does power represent? Money represents power in this reality, doesn't it? Why do we want money? Because it gives us power. Why do we want power? Because it gives us the sense of freedom. With money, with power, I can do what I want, when I want. I'm not limited. Our soul is craving limitless happiness, limitless power, because again, in traditional teachings, picture God as a raging fire of happiness, limitless happiness, and we're just a small spark contained in a physical body. So this small spark of our soul is wanting to feel that limitless happiness because that's its nature, but it's constricted, it's constrained. So seen through the material body and not realizing its true nature, our soul yearns for limitless happiness. And what gives us limitless happiness in this material world? Money. With money, we get power. We get unlimited happiness, apparently. I say apparently because if that was truly, truly true, every rich person would be always happy. And every poor person would be always miserable. Now, of course, no one wants to be in poverty. And everyone would prefer to be rich. But what I'm saying is, there's many depressed rich people. Why is that the case? If money equaled happiness, everyone that's rich should be happy. If money equaled happiness, every person in poverty should be miserable. But that's not the case. There's many happy, broke people, and there's many miserable rich people. And of course, don't worry, there's many miserable broke people, and there's many happy rich people. And that could be a whole other video. But what I'm saying is, happiness is to do with the soul, not to do with this material reality. And again, that's a whole other video. I know what people are going to say. Yeah, but this and that. Yeah, I get it. I can answer your own questions before you ask them. But here's what I'm saying. If you had all the power, what would that give you? As soon as you have a desire, you can fulfill it. Picture it like this. Desire, fulfilled. Another desire, fulfilled. Desire, fulfilled. You could have infinite desires, and to be honest, we do. We're constantly having desires. But here's the thing. Imagine every time you had a desire, you could instantly fulfill it. Desire, power to fulfill. Desire, power to fulfill. Infinitely, as soon as it's happening. What's another way to do this? Never desire at all. That's basically the same thing. As soon as a desire arises, why do we want to get rid of that desire? To feel happy. We're in a state of happiness. We desire. That irritates our happiness. Crush the desire, we feel happy again. Until the next desire arises, crush the desire, we're happy again. This is all we're doing. Like in the showground, those clowns that pop up and we hit them with a hammer. Haven't done that for years. But instead of endlessly knocking these desires on the head with all the power, if the enlightened were all powerful, what do the enlightened truly have? They're free of the need for all power. They're free of the need of all desire. If you see what I'm getting at, it's exactly the same thing. You can have infinite desires and the infinite power to fulfill them. That's one way. Or you can remove the desire for power to begin with, and you're in the same state, aren't you? But it's a lot cheaper. The state of happiness is the state of being desire-free. That's what I'm getting at. So if you can achieve the state of being desire-free, you don't need all the power. You've lost the sense of fear, lost the sense of attachment to this world, lost the fear of death. So the enlightened do not become all-powerful. They do not become all-knowing. They don't even desire all knowledge and all power. They have lost that desire. And that's why they're in a state of peace, freedom, and liberation. So I hope this video helps. Seriously, guys, I made this channel to help. And Advaita Vedanta properly understood and properly practiced through spiritual practice, you're going to achieve that state in this life or the next. And yes, I've had someone recently comment on my channel about Advaita Vedanta is not about past and future lives. Sorry, yes it is. It mentions this in the Bhagavad Gita. Look up the most popular Swami in Advaita Vedanta these days on YouTube, Swami Sarvapriyananda. He'll tell you about the 7 levels of heaven, 7 levels of hell, how the soul reincarnates. Here's the thing. Exactly, when we do self-inquiry in this physical body, we can realize we're the pure witness through self-inquiry. Now, just say we had a soul that left our body and it's floating above the body. That soul, just say that was true. Now, if you're an atheist or whatever, you probably don't think this is true. Imagine if that soul could look down at the physical body and go, whoa, I do survive after death. I wasn't the body, I'm a soul. Cool. Now, if this soul did self-inquiry, what would it realize? I'm not this spiritual body, I'm not this spiritual mind, I'm Brahman. What I'm saying is, the soul leaves the body, but then the soul can do self-inquiry and realize it's Brahman too. But if we're not into these teachings, what's the result for us? They say, the soul leaves the body, we think, wow, I wasn't the body, I'm actually a soul. But then it gets reincarnated into another body and another body until it wakes up to the fact that it's Brahman. But don't think you've woken up to that fact just yet until, honestly, again, you have no desire for this world anymore. You have lost all the sense of fear. You honestly do not believe in a past and a future anymore. Once you have not merged into non-existence, merged into pure existence, then all these stories of past, future, reincarnation don't apply to you. But until then, feel like you're a person living a life, feel like you have fears and desires, guess what? If you die with these senses, you're going to pick up where you left off. If you're very spiritual now, you're going to be very spiritual next life and the next life and the next life until you realize the goal. We don't get to the goal, we dissolve into the goal. If this is Brahman and this is your soul, egoic self, soul, all spiritual practice is doing is dissolving you into Brahman. Merging into Brahman. It's not a place we go to, it's something we merge into. But again, if you feel like you've done that already, no more practice required. But for the rest of us on the path, me included, I'm still doing prayer, devotion, meditation until I have honestly ended my suffering. Until the claims of Advaita Vedanta apply to me in this life or the next or the next or the next. Hope this helps. Take care.